I know how fast you were driving too. I know what time you left. The microphones are hot. Microphones are hot. Microphones hot.
Thank you.
Once I got the hang of it, it was really easy. Yeah. All right.
Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I want to thank everyone for coming today. Roll call of members. Michelle?
Yes.
Megan?
Here.
Sarah?
Here.
I'm here. Motion to approve the agenda as presented or amended.
Make the motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Motion has been approved, first and second. Take a vote. Michelle?
Yes.
Megan?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
I said yes. Consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve it. I'll second.
First and second. Any discussion? Go to vote. Megan?
Abstain.
Sarah?
Yes.
Say yes. Michelle?
Yes.
Okay. Updates and presentation. The city administrator will give us some updates.
Okay, since we've had a meeting last week, there's not a lot to update on, except for the strawberries going to be likely coming down now that the weather is breaking next week. Eric, do you have a proposed date yet?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Tuesday if the wind's high.
Tuesday if the wind is okay. So, yes, we all have our fingers crossed and have been saying our prayers, and we don't know what's going to happen when that comes down, but every effort is being made to make sure that it's coming down properly. We know that it's come down improperly before and it broke. We're going to do our best to make sure none of that happens. So, if anybody wants to, see it, we don't know exactly what time yet Tuesday, but maybe we'll do a live stream. Maybe we'll take some pictures and make a big deal out of it. So, it's going to look real weird for a couple of months, but it should be good. And then, did you have any other updates on that or anything else? No. Okay. That's all I have as far as updates, so we can move on.
Okay. Fire alarm inspection report from the fire station.
Yeah, so we got this fire alarm report. We passed it. Just as a matter of public record, we take basically all inspection reports from all the departments, all the buildings, and we'll make them public. So this will get posted on the website. It's just good for public transparency to let the public know that our infrastructure is working and safe, and so I thank the fire department for providing this, and congratulate them on a past inspection report.
That's good. Thank you.
Sure.
Brandon, may I have you come forward? Will you repeat after me? I, Brandon Taylor,
I, Brandon Taylor,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa,
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa,
and that I will faithfully and impartially,
and that I will faithfully and impartially,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
discharge all of the duties of the office
discharge all the duties of the office
of the police chief go ahead,
of the police chief
in the city of Strawberry Point, Clayton, Iowa,
in the city of Strawberry Point, Clayton County, Iowa,
as now and hereinafter required by law.
as hereby required by law.
Congratulations. Brandon? Yeah, take pictures.
Take pictures.
All right, ready? All right, one more. Yeah, thank you.
Oh my God, I can't sit down there.
Ryan, may I have you come forward? You know what I said? Brandon, you're the chief.
Yeah, you do.
Yes. You never do anything I ask for.
This is true.
One time.
This is true.
This is a proclamation from the city of Strawberry Point, Iowa. Whereas, Police Chief Ryan Evans has honorably served the city of Strawberry Point for 11 years, demonstrating consistent dedication to the safety and well-being of our community. And whereas, during his tenure, Chief Evans has developed a well-trained professional police department, ensuring the highest standards of law enforcement and public service for the people of Strawberry Point. And whereas Chief Evans has displayed extraordinary courage and quick action in life-saving situations, including a recent heroic effort that directly saved a life, exemplifying his deep commitment to protecting and serving others in this community. And whereas Chief Evans has strengthened public safety, advanced officer training, and upheld the highest values of the law enforcement in Strawberry Point. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the city of Strawberry Point formally recognizes and expresses its deepest gratitude to Police Chief Ryan Evans for 11 years of dedicated service. His impact on the department and community will be felt for years to come. Be it further proclaimed that on behalf of the residents of Strawberry Point, the City Council extends its best wishes to Chief Evans upon his retirement, with a sincere appreciation for his years of leadership, service, and sacrifice, presented and entered into public record this 19th day of February, 2025. Thank you.
Uh-oh.
Thank you.
Will you hold up the
We've known each other for a bit.
Oh,
There you go.
there you
Stop
go.
right there. There you go.
Yeah, in front of my face.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
No, don't get started.
Oh, definitely. Did you sign it? Did you sign it?
Oh, I will.
Put it out there.
I know how to run it down.
Okay.
Okay. This is a motion to discuss fiscal year 26 budget.
So moved. Second.
So moved in second.
Okay.
Discussion.
So you will all see on your desk, I've put a sample of the fiscal year 26 budget worksheet. And I just want to make a couple of notes on that, and I want to talk about how we're going to go through and look at these line items. Obviously, we don't want to go through every single line item in every single department, so the numbers that are in there are estimates. We're still refining the insurance numbers, we're still refining salary numbers, and a bunch of other things that we've got quotes out on. So what we've attempted to do is to create a worst-case scenario budget that we'll be able to deduct from and not add to. So I think what we have is worst-case scenario. What I would ask to make the most efficient use of everybody's time is that instead of going through it line by line in tonight's meeting, at home on your own time during the week, go through it, and if there's questions about any specific line items, write it down and maybe email it to me or call me and say, hey, what's this line, and then next week I can have the list of all the questions that all of you might have on the budget, and that way everybody can get the answer at the same time. Also, I know that for Michelle, this is the first budget season. I'm happy to sit with any of the council members to go through this, during the week, daytime, nighttime, whenever, just to, go through it if there's like specific questions about the actual nuts and bolts of the budget. But I want to make sure that, like, if any of you have questions for me, that you all get the answers at the same time. So, and during the week, if you just want to talk offline in terms of like specific line items or departments or whatever, feel free to call me anytime. And then I think what we'll do is by next week we'll have all the answers. We'll have refined numbers for the expenditure side, and we'll have revenue numbers. Like, those are a little harder because we have to estimate what road use tax is going to be, and we have the property tax number already, which is good, and so we're getting there pretty quickly. And so I think by next week we'll have the revenue and the expense side all done. So feel pretty good about that. Next is we have I gave you each a fund balance report. So this basically is a list of all of our funds and what the current balances are. Now, as I am still relatively new, there are some funds on here that we don't really know how they work, or there's been funds in here that have amounts of money that have not been moved in like 5 to 10 years. And so this is the year that I want to clean all of this up and get some of these funds working for the intent that they were meant to. So I wanted to start tonight's discussion with the fund balance report and ask for feedback, and if there's information on some of these funds, that would be great, because we're, the one is I'll just start at the beginning, the Munster Trust. That's 002 at the top of the list. You can see there's $21,607. We know that trust is limited to like beautification, like holiday lights, and the parks, 50/50. And so this year we had a lot of feedback and a lot of complaints about our holiday lights. That they are a little old, they didn't look so great. And so for next year's budget, we want to use half of this fund, or about half of it, about $10,000 to purchase new holiday lights out of that trust, and we want to do it, before, right at the beginning of the fiscal year, so we can get the best price on holiday lights. If we buy them a month before Christmas, we're going to get, we're going to get taken advantage of. So that's one thing we want to do, and then we couldn't really find any historic information on the Munster Trust, and so if any of you know how that works, or if there's any other stipulations other than the 50/50 division between, lighting and beautification on our main street here and the parks, that would be, well received, because we'd like to know it. So, yeah.
Dean, did you know something about it?
The Munster Trust was set up for Christmas decorations and things in the park.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's why nobody tries to touch it in a long time.
Got it. Okay. So, all right. So that's all right. So good. It's good to buttress the current knowledge of it. So we like to do that. The next one is 003. There's a library capital improvement. you'll see in the budget worksheet that there are a lot of capital improvements for the library and the civic center. There's a massive tuck pointing job that needs to happen. Water is already like leaking, so this is a project that, you know, is expensive, but will save us, you know, 5 or 6 times that amount of money by avoiding the problems that come with water. And just as a heads up, when we work on the revenue side, we plan to bring that library capital improvement number down to almost 0 and apply that to the tuck pointing job, which will be much more. It'll be $30,000 to $40,000 for the full tuck pointing. Next, there is a tree board account 006 with 2276 in it. I don't think we have a tree board anymore, and so
I can't do it by myself.
yeah, you can't do it.
So I just gave it to Eric and Karen.
That's probably what left on the grant we had like 4 years.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think what we'll do then is make a fund balance proposal to take those funds and put it in a fund that would still be attributed to the trees, and trimming and maintenance and all that stuff, and then just get it off the books and as far as this fund. So, it's just
or
better
replacing the trees and
Yeah.
that needed to be taken down or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, and then 008 is the Civic Center fund. We want to use, some of that fund to also help with the tuck pointing project, because the tuck pointing project is going to span both buildings. So we want some of those funds to come out of the Civic Center fund. And what we'll do is, once we get the quote, and the reason this is going to go in next year's fiscal budget is just timing and getting contractors that are able to do the job.
So that tuck pointing, can't we allocate every year so much to be put towards tuck
We
pointing?
can.
After initially it's done?
Yeah.
If we say we're gonna do X amount every year
Yeah.
moving forward?
Yeah, the capital improvement, there are funds in here that get money each year, and it just kind of loads up, and that's kind of why we're suggesting taking some of the capital improvement funds that are in there, because they do fill up from year to year. But I think, to your point, we need to be more cognizant of proactive and also recognize the size and magnitude of these projects and what they actually cost now, and maybe put a little bit more money, in those funds each year, so that we're not having to, levy for those funds when we need them. And then 112, the street equipment reserves. You can see there's 115,000. We plan to allocate, some of that to capital improvement plan projects that are related to the streets, and you'll see those in your budget book. And then also with 016, the parks equipment reserves, there's 28,469 in there. We might want to allocate some of that fund balance to improvements at Inger Park and any of the other parks. Also 110, road use, there's 151,000 in there right now. We'll want to allocate some of those fundings to the capital improvement plan projects. Fund 200 is the debt payments. So that fund will kind of zero out each year. We put money in there to pay the debts, and when we pay our bond interest and principal payments and fees, that comes down. So it looks like a big number in there, but really that fluctuates pretty quickly.
Yeah, sure.
And then 322 this is an interesting one. 322 is the housing rehab fund. Ideas on what to do with this cash. I don't know why this fund was originally set up or what we intend to do with that money. And so if anybody knows, raise their hand and tell me, please.
I believe it started out by if anybody needed windows or something, needed help with improvements on their home,
Okay.
they could apply to the city and get something put towards
Got it.
what they needed.
And would that be like a grant or just a revolving loan type of thing? I've seen it done both ways before, where they can, get a 0% loan for 5 years, or if it's just a grant situation.
I'm pretty sure it was a grant and you had to stay in your house for 8 years maybe.
Okay. Yeah.
Stipulations to it.
There wasn't there?
Yeah.
But I do remember it was to
For
help
something
people
like
in
that.
town.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you just had to
Yeah,
kind of sign a
they
contract.
gave people money for their housing, if they hadn't lived there for so many years, they couldn't get it fixed up to right around and sell it.
Right.
Got it. Okay. So then, this is a, a significant amount of money in there, so why don't we do some research, and maybe come back to you all with some updated stipulations, updated ideas for that fund, because, each year as this money sits in the fund unused, inflation just eats it up and makes it worth less. So I'd love to get it, used so that, we
I'm
can
sure
benefit
there's a
by
lot
it.
of people that could.
Yeah. So we'll re-up, and sort of reintroduce this and with some current stipulations in there.
Yeah.
Great. And then 125 is the cash TIF. That's the tax increment financing that was related to the industrial park south of town. There's $1,683 in there that it's suggested by the state that we move this off because we have to do a report for this each year, and it's just a zeroed report, but it takes a good hour and a half to 2 hours to actually go through all the line items, and so they suggested that we move this out of here. And so we will have, as part of next year's budget, a TIF eligible expense because that's very limited to being spent at the industrial park. So maybe a new sign down there, something to get this off the books and get the account closed out. And then finally, 002, going back to the Munzer Trust, we thought about allocating, about $10,000 from that fund to go toward the capital improvement plan of the, we want to install a restroom down by that park there. And so we think that would be a good way to help fund it. And we think with these changes to the fund balances, we'll zero a bunch of them out, clean up the books a little bit, get the money that's been allocated for projects actually being used for projects, and and that way keep our debt as limited as possible, and keep everything moving in the right direction. Any additional questions or comments on the fund balance report? Okay. Next, you will see there is a graph. It's this sheet. This is sort of a compilation of, not a compilation, a simplification and visualization of about 10 to 12 pages out of last year's budget book. So what this does is this outlines all of the city debts. So every debt issuance is up here on the top, and it has the debt calendar year by year and what our payments need to be to fulfill those debt obligations. And so the visualization is a total amount of money. Each bar shows a total amount of money by year. And so you can see, like with any debt amortization table, it skews down. So as of right now, the entire city debt with all issuances is $1.191 million. And in fiscal year 26, we are making the final payment on the 2006 sewer revenue bond. That's about $100,000 a year, and so that's going to put us in a much nicer fiscal position starting, in the next fiscal year. So that's a lot of money to come off, and then you will see fiscal year 27 and 28 will be the final years of the 2012 street bond, and so that will bring off about another, $60,000 a year. And so that really puts us in a good fiscal position. And obviously you've all seen the capital improvement plan. We have a lot of equipment and a lot of things that we need to order, pretty soon. And I just wanted to show this debt calendar because different people have different opinions on debt and this and that. But I'm a big fan of using debt very carefully. But for capital improvement planning, for equipment purchases, to spread the debt over the useful life of the warranty of, let's say we're buying a vehicle, spread the debt over the life of the warranty, roads, you spread the debt over the life of the road, and this way, you know, one set of constituents today isn't paying for something that people 15 years from now are going to be using. So I wanted to visualize this because as we have some purchases that we're going to be suggesting next week that are going to fill in a couple of these gaps. You know, there's some bigger purchases that we're going to suggest. One is a pumper truck for the fire department that we've been talking about for a very long time. It's really important to note that there's a 3-year order period on that. So if we order it, you know, this year, we're not going to have to make a payment on it until 3 fiscal years from now. And so that will fill in one of these bars, you know, significantly each year. We have pricing on that. We'll probably have a resolution on the next at the next meeting to get something like that ordered. And then we also have, you know, big road projects, some of which will have to go to bond, some of which will come out of fund balance. But once we get you through the expenditure side of the budget, and once we get that sort of finalized by next week, then I'll have a better sense of where we can plug in some of the capital purchases on this debt calendar and try to make it so that we're not spiking. You know, I want to make it so that we have an even and consistent and predictable debt load that is affordable. So that's kind of the plan with this. So any questions on this or its layout or the numbers on there or anything like that? No? Okay. That was it on our budget presentation. So any questions or feedback on the proposed process? You know, I know it's different than how you've done it in the past, but I think this is going to be far more efficient, and it'll allow us to focus on the areas that need focus, and it'll allow us to save time on the areas where there's, you know, built-in concurrence on the numbers. So, and then obviously, if any of you want to talk privately, you know, reach out to me anytime, day or night. I'm happy to do that.
All good? Okay.
Yeah, all good.
Resolution 2509, approving the liquor license renewal for the Franklin Hotel.
Motion. Second.
First and second. Any discussion?
I've got some discussion.
Okay.
So we've had, and not to necessarily tie this up, but it needs to be part of the public record. So we've had 2 fire calls there in the last month, and there's been some real problems with how they're heating the building. We were told at the beginning of January that the boiler was going to be fixed in a week. It's now 6 weeks later, and they're no closer to having it finished. The upstairs rooms were being heated with space heaters on extension cords, which is a ridiculous fire hazard. And the downstairs was being heated with an outdoor propane heater, which is absolutely, unequivocally the dumbest thing you could do. So the fire chief has been over there a couple of times in the last month, letting them know that this is not up to code, and that you know, now that they've sort of repeated the problems and we've gone in and observed the same problems over and over, we've reached out to the building codes people through the county, the state, sorry, and they will, you know, they will be hopefully addressing that soon. I wanted that to be part of this discussion so that, you know, you're aware, like, they're asking for a liquor license, and that's great, and we want businesses to flourish in town. At the same time, like, this is a, you know, this is a big problem that we've been having over there, and it could tie into your discussion or your deliberations about granting them the liquor license. So,
is it something we can hold off on until they get their
I think
up
so.
to code? I think that seems like a fair enough.
it
think
is
that's
something
more
you
than
can
fair.
decide to do.
Well, we don't want to have public in there in the bar if something does happen, and if they've already been called out twice, is that what you said, Dean?
Yes.
Once, middle of the night,
Okay.
and I've been up there, today was my 3rd time up there.
Okay, today was your 3rd time, and I was in here when you talked about the LP.
Yeah,
And that's scary.
yeah. So this won't end their liquor license right now, this is for their renewal. So we could table their renewal if you, so your options here are to approve it, to table it, or deny it altogether. So we can easily table it, and I could reach out to them and let them know that it was tabled and that there's concerns. And that, we'll reintroduce it to the table, or to deliberations once they're, up to code.
Deny till they're compliant.
Otherwise, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna deny it.
Can we do that? Can we deny it and then they can reapply once they're up to code, or does it?
That
not
would be more complicated and bureaucratic because the licenses do go through the state, and so my suggestion would be table it, and then I can write them a letter and let them know that this has been tabled and here's why.
Sure.
And then maybe we give them 2 weeks, like let's say the first week in March meeting. If they're not up to compliance, then
Do you know when their current license expires?
I would have to look it up in the state system. I'm not sure.
So maybe we table it till next meeting and then revisit it, see what's happening there.
Yeah, we could
Or
do
you
that.
send a letter to give them 2 weeks.
I would table it until somebody can check off that they're compliant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Once somebody is
Yeah.
checking off that they're compliant, then we can put it back on the agenda. There's no sense in putting it on if they're not gonna do anything.
Yeah, and I could give a weekly update because we're gonna have weekly
Yeah.
meetings for the foreseeable future, so I could just give an update if it's not on the agenda, I can give an update as to where they're at.
Sure.
So if that's the concurrence, then we will table it until they're in compliance, and I will issue them a written explanation why it was tabled, and then give them sort of a deadline and let them know if this isn't done by a deadline, then the council, will vote to deny the liquor license. I think that's super fair, and it will lead to, maybe saving lives, because what they're doing there is very
dangerous.
Yeah.
You okay with that?
Do you need a motion to table?
We do need a motion to
I'll
table.
make the motion. One second.
Okay,
And
motion to table.
Yeah, and then a roll call. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Megan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sarah?
Yes.
Yes, I say, and Michelle?
Yes.
The hammer was a foot closer to me, and I could take it, right? Yeah.
We will table it.
All right.
Any other business for anybody up here? Anybody out in the crowd wanna make any comments? We're all good.
All right. Why don't we get some photos with Brandon and his family, and
Can we-
and then.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
We adjourn. Everybody can
And
jump for
then-
joy.
and don't
Then we'll
forget
get out of the
the-
way so you can take
No,
pictures.
Sign Ryan's
I'm
proclamation.
just proud of it.
Take my case. I'm so sorry.
Stand over there. Thank you. I am, yeah.
Been doing the duty?
Yeah, no, we're good.
Keep plugging away.
Yeah, well, you don't want to do it all at once, but I think, things kind of your own sure. Take a little bit from everybody.
Make it your own.
Yep. That'd be fun.
Well, they moved over to They moved over to Aurora, nobody can come and stay here.
All right, ready?
Until they call the number.
There you go. All right, good. Big smile, big smile. 1, 2, 3. Got it, all right. All right, we're just gonna add now. Alright, ready? Chris, do it. Alright, ready? 1, 2, 3, got it. Alright, next. Everybody. Chris. Alright, go ahead, get in there.
You want me to take a picture?
Alright, ready? Let's make it look like it's not 0 degrees outside. Alright, 1, 2, 3, got it.
Alright, there's gotta be one.
Right on.
Will you join us, please?
Bye. Pleasure.
Alright, police officers, Val.
I know.
Val, I'll freeze that camera right up.
Police officers who know what these items like.
Yeah.
Handle the closer you got it.
Sorry, we have personal space issues.
Yeah.
Sorry. I haven't gotten to know.
Alright, 1, 2, 3.
Just got it right in his face.
Alright. Very good.
Oh, sorry. Oh.
Does anybody else want pictures?
Hey, where today? See you?
Alright,
I just work.
Where's the baton? Are you supposed to hand them up this way?
Yeah,
I'm working on my equipment, I'm looking.
Yeah. Alright, ready? 1, 2, 3. Got it. Alright. I want you guys to do one shaking hands, like that's good. We'll be very serious.
I can't do it, I'll start laughing.
Hey, look at me.
Right on.